I am Kenzie T. I'm with the Fromm Squad, and I'm super excited to share with Marlo Beauty Professionals. We're going to talk all about Teasylights. I've prepped my model Nora today, and she has a little Teasylight action going on over here, and then this is what she started with on her left side. But just like Marlo Beauty was asking, where is everyone watching from? Nikel's with me, so she's going to help me with your questions and your answers.
We have Kim is from South Carolina, some from Detroit, Michigan,
Oh, that's awesome.
Northern California, Chicago, Michigan again, Massachusetts, Texas.
That's awesome.
All over.
That's so awesome. We just wanted to thank you guys for being here. I don't know if you want to try doing the little thing that we were doing earlier, try pressing paste. But I'm going to get started. I already started, like I said, I did the beginning here earlier today, and then I started doing some Teasylights, and I'm going to show you guys the pattern that I've created. I just thought it'd be really nice for you to see what the finished result will be, and then also how we get there. So I'm going to go through, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So with Nora here, she's a Fromm mannequin. I was showing this earlier on the stories. She's really great because she has natural hair just like our clients. She's brunette with a little warmth in there and some grays. So she's very realistic for a mannequin as to what we're working with. So I started off with, here I'm going to pull her up just a little bit just to make it easier. So I started with doing some little back-to-back Teasylights here around her hairline, but keeping out some of her hair as like a little veil. That way when she pulls it back in a ponytail, you don't have that harsh highlight. It'll grow out really soft. So you'll just kind of see those highlights peeking through. I'm going to open this up to show you guys what we're working with, but because she's a mannequin, she's a little bit cooler. She doesn't have as much heat as maybe a real human client would, so she is lifting just a little bit. She's probably only lifted about 2 levels, but maybe by the end of this, she'll have lifted a little bit more. So we did 2 back-to-back right around her hairline. And then after I do the 2 back-to-back on each hairline, so I'm going to show those to you guys. Can you see okay, Nikel?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. So 2 back-to-back, 2 back-to-back, and then I did 2 on her bottom hairline. Some clients are different. Sometimes they have a little bit thinner of a hairline where it's a little bit more pointed, so I don't have to do these 2. But I thought for Nora, she has a little bit more width there, so we're going to add those 2. And then I kind of like to close in this area and put another 2 or 3. It really just depends on their head shape. And then I kind of work into this partial area. Alrighty, let me put her down just a little. Okay, so once I get into the partial area, I went again with a little dropout for some dimension. And I put this little Teasylight here. Another one. So kind of just mirroring it on each side. Like, yeah, sorry.
Look over here.
Yes, that sounds good. So kind of just mirroring it on each side, going through, adding some horizontal pieces in there as well. And I like to work up to a triangle for my clients. I feel like this is really nice to make a triangle on the top because now I'm just going to go horizontally up and it's all going to be really blended in the back. And I'm always going to know what my final result is. Now let me put her down just a little bit so I can actually get to work on her. So what we're going to do is Teasylights. And if you are joining late, then I'm going to also be posting this on IGTV, and we're also going to post it on the Marlo YouTube, so you have that to look forward to. But we're doing Teasylights. I'm showing you my favorite placement for them and the products I like to use with them. So the first thing I like to do with my clients when I get started, and since this side is done, I'm not gonna worry about this side, is I actually like to go through anytime I'm using lightener just to rehydrate their ends and put a little oil through their ends. So I'm gonna work this through, get it nice and warm in my hands. And I'm gonna usually work that mids through ends. And then same thing on this side. This is how I have my assistants prep my clients, just mids through ends. Just kind of gives it a little bit more hydration and protection as we go through with the lightening process. And then I'm gonna go in and just kind of brush that in one more time. Now with Teasylights, it really just depends on the canvas that I'm working on as to what volume I'm gonna be using. And for Nora, she's pretty dark, and her end result that she wanted was quite a bit of a change. So I'm gonna be using 30 volume on her, and she looks like she has all natural hair, so it's kind of nice. I can use the same volume all throughout her whole head. Alrighty, so I am using the 2 1/4 inch feather brush from Fromm. I love this brush because it is so smooth. I use this with all lightening applications just because it's so delicate and I can really be super creative with it. So I wanted to show you guys that. And I also really love, is this a good spot, Nicole?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I also really love these pop-up foils. They're also another Fromm piece, and I'm gonna be using these. They're really nice because I don't have to have an assistant at my disposal to hand me foils. They just do it for me. So I really love this, and they are the size of a traditional foil, but for her hair, it's gonna be long enough when I use my board. If I wanted to get a little bit more custom, if she had longer hair, I'm gonna use my foil roll, and I'm gonna grab that real quick. And I really love this. I almost use this on her, but what's really nice about it is you can make your own length of foils. So they're super custom. So if your client has longer hair, maybe you're gonna need a longer section to fit their head. The short foils don't always work, but for Nora, it works. Alrighty. Okay, so like I said, we're gonna start with this little triangle section. We've worked our way up to the crown, and we're gonna go ahead and just take this little triangle right here and make a new triangle. There we go. And I'm gonna take this section, it's quite large, so I'm gonna actually take a little slice off the top. And if I want a more sheer tease, I'm gonna start about 3/4 of the way down and push the hair, so I get a really fine weave. But if I want a little bit more pop to the tease, I'm gonna brush this out. And you can see it's not too hard to brush out. If I want just a little bit more thickness within my Teasylight, I'm gonna start about halfway and just push up the top. This gives it a lot of dimension and feather through this area, and I love it because it will give them their natural base, a little in-between tone, and then all that lightness through the ends. So my clients are able to go a really long time with this technique, and sometimes they can even go up to a year, which is really nice for them. But let's do a little bit of a thicker Teasylight this time. I'm gonna move you just for a second.
You're gonna come over here, you're good.
Alrighty, so when I do Teasylights, I take my board and I'm gonna put my foil about a 1/2 inch over the edge of it. Flatten that down to make a really nice clean base. I have my little Teasylight. I like to hold my thumb on there so it's really secure. I'm gonna push any little flyaways or tease up towards the top. I'm gonna first apply some product and put it on the bottom, like in the middle. I'm gonna take any of that extra product that's on my brush and dust it on the bowl because I don't want it to be too heavy as I'm starting to feather the product up. I wanna be really soft with the amount of product that goes in this top quarter area. So I'm just gonna feather this up, and I can go back to this little palette of lightener and feather that up. Nice and slow towards the top. Once I feel good about the top area, I'm going to go back through my mid and I'm going to apply a little bit more lightener to really saturate that area. And I'm going to actually go back and forth to make sure that all of those hairs are saturated, especially with a thicker slice of a Teasylight like this. I want to make sure all those hairs are saturated so that way they lift really even. I'm going to wrap those little ends in, and they need more saturation, so I'm going to add a little bit more product there. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to kind of go back and forth. Does anyone have any questions? Feel free to ask them. We will get to them, and Nikel will read some of them for me as they come through.
Someone just asked, what's your favorite brush for lightener?
Yeah, this is actually my favorite brush. This is the tapered tips. It's the feather. You know what? Let me dust this off a little bit more. It comes in this little box. You can see that they're a lot softer near the edges, so they're gonna create a lot softer of a look. So freehand, balayage, and blending. I also use them for traditional foiling. I really like them. Ever since I found this brush from I have just been in love with the way my colors look from the moment I started using them. I felt like it was the brush that I had been looking for my whole color life.
Someone also asked about like maintenance and how like often people come in.
Yeah, so it really depends on the goal. So for a brunette that wants to go for a lot softer of a look, that's more shimmery. Sometimes it's their first color. This is the perfect first color to create on someone. I would say they can come in just whenever they feel their hair goal is necessary. Some of my clients do 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year. So it's really up to my clients, but I love when my clients are able to go longer. And we kind of just talk through exactly what they're looking for within the look. I would say I do this probably, what do you think, like 80% of my clients? 80 to 90%?
80 to 90, yeah.
Yeah, 80 to 90% of my clients I do Teasylights on. I do it on super dark clients. I do it on really light clients that want a little bit softer of a look near their root. Sometimes I even do it where I do it super close to their root, but for her I'm just going for like a really soft feathered look in her root.
And all these tools you can find at Marlo, correct?
Yeah, marlobeauty.com. So I'm just feathering those little guys up. And I always put a second foil right on top. Make sure it overlaps the top area so that way it processes evenly. Fold this in half. Side, side. And I got a little lightener on my finger, so I'm going to use my little towel. Fromm has the cutest towels. I picked this one today. I was just feeling pink, but they also have like neon orange. They have like an aqua blue, a sage green, pretty much like maybe 20 different colors. So if your salon is going for a certain aesthetic, I'm sure they have what you're looking for. I'm going to tilt her back. Do you think that's a little more
that's
visible?
good. And then someone asked, do you mix large bowls of lightener or multiple small batches for long hair?
So generally I like to mix smaller batches. If they have more hair, I will mix a pretty big batch to begin with because their hair is just going to drink it up. But what's really cool is the different sizes. So this is the larger size of bowl that Fromm offers. And I really like it just because I can put all my product a little bit of everywhere. And then they have these little baby guys that are super cute. And I feel like when we use the little guys, we don't waste as much product, especially if we're adding a low light. We don't want to fill this bowl as much, so it helps us not waste. But I really like this one for when I'm lightening just because I have a little bit more flexibility with it. It's a little heavier and more sturdy. Okay, so we're gonna take a little slice. I like to put my finger where I want to end, and my comb's always gonna go there. And I'm gonna have a pretty clean line. If that's what I'm going for, I got a pretty clean line. Okay, this one we're gonna do about 3/4 of the way down. I want it to be a lot softer in the crown so you don't have any harshness on the round of the head. So sometimes I tease it and it's fine. Sometimes I do an extra little weave and add a little hair there. I like to check it. It looks nice and sheer. I always like to go really sheer through the crown because there's nothing like having a really harsh blonde area right as the head curves. I'm gonna push this right up there, get rid of those little flyaways from the tease. Putting my thumb right there to keep it really taut and tight. So first, starting in the mids, getting my product kind of laid down, scraping off my brush so I don't apply too much near the base, and working it up slowly. And sometimes I create like little V's, little peaks and whatnot.
Are these foils embossed?
They are. Yeah, they're really grippy. I feel like the hair and the product together really helps it stick. Yeah, and they actually are pre-folded. If you look at them right there. For my technique, I just kind of take them any way they come out. And I just lay them right on top. But I make sure to cover. I don't want to put it just right there because then this is going to be like a bright orange color. I want to make sure it's right on top and covering. Sometimes I'll even overlap it a bit. Fold it in half, side, side. And it's tight, but it's not too tight. It's not gonna make a line or anything right there. I've never had that problem. I know a lot of people worry about that with folding their foils, but because my slices and weaves and Teasylights are so fine, the product's totally saturated through there, and I'm never gonna get an uneven part in my foil from the fold.
Someone's asking how wide of sections do you usually take?
Yeah, right now, I work my little triangle up until I can pretty much fit my foil across it. So if it's a lot wider, I'm obviously gonna add some more pieces to kind of work it into this little triangle. So I'm gonna weave, because she's a mannequin, she has a really thick spot right here, so I'm gonna go a little heavier here and then really thin through there, a little heavier back on the side. She's had a really chunky area. And I really love on my brunettes leaving a lot of dimension in there. That helps them go a lot longer. That way when they pull their hair up, they still have a little bit of their natural, beautiful color within their final results. And something fun you can do if you have a brunette that really wants super contrasted dimension is do this technique and then also tone all their ends, even if they're already perfect. Just richen them up a little bit with a little toner, maybe like a level 7. And that will make even more contrast because you're just richening up their natural color with everything that's like left out. You can see she's quite a bit thicker through there. I'm gonna kind of work this back and forth. Make sure she's really nice and saturated.
Do you use heat with your liner?
I generally do. It really depends on the client. Sometimes if they're pretty light, we can just have them wait. But if they are darker, like Nora here, then we're definitely gonna put her under some heat. Really depends on her hair. We always check the hair. We like to rinse in phases. So for example, we may have applied this 30 minutes before we apply the last foil. This is gonna be ready first. We'll rinse there, shampoo it, put her back under the dryer, and then just rinse as we go. Oh, and then I'm actually using a pintail comb. I really like these because they do help me make super fine weaves, but it's super strong and has a lot of support for the Teasylight. I feel like this comb was built for styling, and I really like it for weaving because I am doing that. I am doing that Teasylight. Is this an okay spot?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Okay, again, she has that thick spot because she's a nice, cute little mannequin. I don't know, some of our clients might have a little thick area too, so Just kind of work your way around it, even it out. Okay, so folding that over, pulling it up nice and close. I have my thumb here to really secure the hair, keep it nice and taut. I'm first applying my product to the center. I'm going to start working it up.
Someone wants to know what's the advantages of using double foils.
I just like the way it lays better. If I'm putting this up here, sometimes it just depends on the hair. Like if the hair is longer and there's lightener all the way down here, if I'm kissing that lightener up to the root, because I want to cover this lightened area, if I'm kissing it up here, we're going to get a bleeder. So this kind of ensures that my color's laying exactly how I want it to. So like I said, watch, let's do it, because Nora's okay with a little bleeder today. Let's see what happens. If we put this here, we're gonna fold this up because we need to cover that top. See how it kissed it right up there and it made a little area that might have a little bleeder. So that is why, what I'll do is I'll just pull that down a little bit. So that is why I like to, here's my lightener line. I like to put my foil just over. So sometimes it matches up, sometimes it's a little bit over. Press it down, fold it in half. And I'm not creasing it too hard right here. I'm just kind of folding the corners in. Folding that right there. So she's nice and secure. Okay, we are done with the back. I'm gonna work on the front very soon. Do you guys have any questions? I'm gonna rinse my hand because I got a little lightener on it.
Someone wants to know, are you gonna do a root shadow after this?
Yes, so I did a root shadow on her. If you're coming in later, we're doing Teasylights, and all the products and tools that I'm sharing are available on marlobeauty.com. So let me put her head back up. I tilted her back. So I did a little root shadow on our girl right here. So I did this earlier today. So you can see she's a lot lighter. Do you want to pull back so you can see the difference? So you can see she's a lot lighter. This is where she started. This is where we got to. I did a 7 on her. I really like it because it's a little bit softer than her natural color. And then I did like a 10 on her ends, like a beigey 10. And what I really love about this look is I can make it super bright right around the face like a traditional foil, or I can make it a little bit softer. And for our brunettes, I'm a brunette, I feel like I can relate to them. We want something that doesn't grow out super harsh. So as we pull back, you can tell that she does have those bright pieces, but she's gonna have a pretty seamless grow out because we left it really soft right around her hairline. So that way when it grows out, it won't be super stripy. And that's how my clients are able to go quite a while with their colors, because we make it really soft and teasy right through this area. And I'm gonna show you that on the other side now. Okay, Nicole, tell me how she's best.
Okay. Do you want me to come on this side?
Is this okay right here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do I need to turn her a little? Is that a good spot?
That's perfect, I think.
Perfect.
Someone wants to know, is a tease easy to come out?
Yeah, the tease is actually really easy to come out. As long as you're taking fine sections, then it's pretty easy. What we do is we rinse the clients, we shampoo them. They are generally still teased up, but once they're all done, we will put conditioner through their mids and ends and let that sit for a few, and then start brushing it. Sometimes with the conditioner in, sometimes we'll rinse it and then brush it afterwards, and it's pretty easy. Okay, so for my client here, I'm gonna ask her where her part is, and I know she parts here, so I'm gonna take a little section. So generally, if I was doing this from scratch, if this wasn't done, I would take this section, her around her part, and this section right here, and I would pin that up together. But because I already did that side, I'm just gonna take this half, and usually I take it kind of where her head has a little bit of a round, so it's kind of right here. And I'm gonna pin this over here. for right now, and that's gonna be my last section in my focus where I'm gonna put a little flare around her face. So let's do this area. Like I said, for my brunettes, I like it to be super subtle and shimmery. I am going to, let's see, I'm going to take it this way first, along her little hairline. Okay, we're gonna start with that much hair. She's actually has a super full hairline, like because she's a mannequin, but usually our clients will have a little bit finer of a hairline, unless you just know someone who's super blessed with a nice full hairline like Nora here. Is that good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. So I like to leave a little bit out, so I'm gonna start with just a weave. I'm gonna take a teeny skinny little weave here and make sure I have enough left out to create like a little veil for her. I'm gonna be really good about this area and kind of pick through. That way, if this is all light, we have this little area to kind of mask over it. So she does get that really pretty happy grow out. Okay, I'm going to turn her a little because I don't want to put my body in front of it. Okay, these ones are a little bit harder just having a camera right here, so hopefully I don't knock you guys out of the way. But we're gonna do the same thing. Sometimes I do just use a regular foil technique here and I don't use my board. Mikkel, I'm gonna actually go right there.
Here, I'll switch you.
Yeah, there we go. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Alrighty, so again, I'm gonna start in the mid. I'm gonna work my way up. I'm gonna go a little bit closer towards her face right here. Here at the top, I'm gonna make this little V on this side and a little V on that side. Because we wanna have some little points of interest.
Mm-hmm. What did you prep the hair with at the beginning?
Yes, I used an oil. I like to use a really hydrating oil in the ends especially, just to make sure that they're really hydrated before we cover them with lightener. Try to do my part in protecting their hair as much as possible. It's like a little mini treatment before we get started. But it doesn't take any time at all. Okay. Putting that other foil through here. And if you're just tuning in, we are doing Teasylights. And I am Kenzie T with the Fromm Squad, and I'm really excited that I'm able to share with Marlo Beauty Pros. And any tools and products that I'm using can be found on marlobeauty.com. And if you guys have any questions that go unanswered, we will make sure to get to those after the live. And we're also going to be posting the live on IGTV and on Marlo Beauty YouTube when we're done. Okay, so I'm creating another little piece that has some dimension. And you know what, this one I'm going to tease it just a little, especially near that top. I like to keep them super shimmery. I find when we keep a little dimension of their natural in the hair, it just creates a better grow out.
Will your foil placement change based on the client?
Generally, sometimes it does, yes. For her, I'm actually doing something really fun, which I'll show you guys in the front. So in the back, I kind of keep it the same. But we know with horizontal foils, we get a little bit more impact. Now for this, I'm trying to create like that little flare around her face, a little bit brighter. So I'm doing these two back-to-back pieces, and then I'm gonna show you what I'll do next for my placement. And I wanna make sure this little end section is super saturated, so I'm gonna go back and forth. That little whitener I keep. I'll wipe that board off. There we go. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is I have these two that are framing her face. I'm actually gonna shift my foil. So we're gonna kind of go in a pattern like this of two. So we're gonna kind of go right up so she gets lots of dimension, because this is her first color and she wants a big change, but she still wants to look like a brunette. Okay, let's switch sides.
Okay.
Is this still a good spot?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So now I'm just gonna shift a little bit. So I'm gonna take this and make like a little triangle. There's like a little tiny triangle right here, right above her ear. So there we go, a little triangle of hair. And we're gonna take a slice off the top. Like I said, I really like leaving a lot of their natural out. That's how we get a lot of movement through the color. I'm going to tease this one about midway. And I'm not gonna weave these ones too much because she has a little bit less hair in the front than she does in the back. So I do want these to be a little bit stronger.
Someone asked, do you have to use foils for this technique, or what do you generally do?
Yeah, I generally use foils just because I like the control I have. If you have a different method of doing this, then by all means do it. We are all artists, we all create differently. I just really like the control I have with foils and knowing how it's going to lift. Generally, you can get those more beigey and cool and bright tones because your hair that you're working on can lift a little brighter with foils. So that is why I personally love to use foils. Okay, I'm gonna take another slice directly on top of that one. So 2 here, 2 here. You know, I could take a little bit more. There we go. You wanna leave enough dimension out. I can take this whole piece too and start down here, do a really thick tease. So there's a lot less left out, but knowing that this is all gonna blend in there, there's still a lot of dimension. Okay, so starting in the mids, applying that color, I'm gonna scrape off any extra color in my bowl so I can feather this up. Let me get this little tease out of my way. So really light and feathery towards the top so we don't get any bleeders and we have more of a blend. And this tease is already making it blend so much because it's gonna make it really feathery through the top. Okay, I'm gonna do another turn. I'm just gonna go straight horizontal. So these are my pieces that are gonna give a little bit more impact. And it's kind of nice because these impactful pieces are laid back a little, so it's not gonna be as harsh as if they were on the top in a really visible area. So I'm gonna go through like this, and you can see she's got some fun little mannequin strings hanging out in there. She's got lots of colors going on, but I love it. She's very natural. Okay. What kind of combs do you guys like to use for your services? I used to use like a thicker tail comb that was like, what kind of material was it? Just like a really thick, like plastic, I guess like a carbon or something. I'm not sure if that's the right name, but I think that's what it was called. But since I fell in love with these little pintail combs, they just make everything so much easier and blendy for me. Do you guys use a little pintail like me or something different?
Let's see, we're waiting for some responses. Ooh, someone said if you're doing gray coverage too, do you do that before or after Teasylights?
You know what? Sometimes I do it. It just depends how much gray. So Nora actually has a few little sparkly grays that definitely wouldn't need permanent coverage. So I did all her Teasylights, And then I went in and just did her root shadow. And that was enough coverage for her where it blended her grays in enough. But if I had someone who was a little bit more gray, I would probably do their roots, then do this technique. And it's kind of perfect because I'm staying away from the root, so I can put that color in the root first.
Everyone's saying they love pintail cones.
Yes, I don't know why I was so late to the game. You change. You change over time. Okay, cool. So we got 2, 2, and 2. So they're at different angles, and they kind of go like this, creating lots of dimension. Okay, now we're gonna do that little face framing piece that everyone loves. And I created hers a little bit softer. Now, if she had like a fringe, then I would probably go in, let's pretend that like this is her fringe. If she had this fringe, I would go in and probably just do some really soft baby lights for this technique, some really soft baby lights this way against her fringe, the same way that they lay. And that would kind of give her just like a little glow and shimmer through her fringe. And then I would probably do it a little bit brighter through her sides to give her that flare if she wanted a little bit more popper on the face. But let's see. Now what I'm gonna do is start off with this section, and I'm going to take it like a little tiny triangle right here. Oh, I just realized all my clips are on my shoulder. I was like, where are they? They're right there. Okay, so I'm gonna actually take this just as a little weave, no tease. It's just like this little tiny sliver right here. And I'm not even gonna use a board for this. I'm just gonna use my foil. And I'm gonna make it small so that way I have a little bit more control. So I'm doing like 3/4 on my foil. Guys, I can't fold a foil today. Just toss that one down. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to work this down just regular. And then I'm going to work another one right on top of that. Dun, dun, dun. We're going to keep going at the same angle so we get a little bit more impact with this. And this one I'm gonna tease, it's pretty thick, but I'm leaving a little bit out so she still has a little natural. Teasing that, weaving it up. Time is flying. I'm really glad that we started most of her head because I don't think we would have gotten this far. I know we told you guys probably 30-ish, maybe 40 minutes, but we might go just a little longer. So hopefully you guys are happy to be here. Thanks for coming and joining with me. I'm really excited. I know Marlo has other live events coming up soon. Will you tell us about those?
Oh, yes. You can find them at the marlobeauty.com Pro to Pro section with all the live events.
Yeah, they have more pro live events on their website, so they are kind of the source for everything. Education, product, tools, they just have it all. Okay, taking another one right here, right on top. So we're kind of like a little angle, but a little bit more horizontal too. Okay, this one we'll just do a little regular foil right here. I feel like my weaves look so thick on her hair. She's just got really dense hair. I'm just barely feathering up through there.
How do you make your money piece have like a soft blend?
I like doing it at this angle because I am giving it some natural in there. She's going to be softer because she has her natural within there, and I'm not doing it directly with her head. I'm giving her some dimension by going against her parting. So that way she has these little points of interest right around her hairline. Okay, now I'm gonna work this way. I'm gonna turn her head so that way we can all see. I wish all my clients could do this. Wouldn't that be so great?
We wish.
Yeah, like, can you turn your head like a little teacup? Like, turn it over. Okay, I'm kind of doing that same thing where I'm gonna go like this. Kind of always putting little points near the front. And there we go.
Looks good.
We probably had 3 or 4 more foils.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're weaving, teasing and weaving.
Everyone's saying they love your salon and sweet.
Oh my gosh, that's so nice. My husband did everything in the space, and of course I picked out all the goodies, and Fromm outfitted our salon, so we have the best tools to always work with. We just wanted a really cute aesthetic for the space, and I feel like with our tools we were able to make that happen. They've done so much for me by just providing the best tools that I was so excited to be able to share with you guys. A little bit of what I do with them. They're the only tools I use. I love them.
So nice when you go to the top, you pivot.
Yes. I like to always create different angles. You know, if someone wanted a lot of light, like a big dramatic change, I might just do like the front, how I'm showing, and then do all of them horizontal up the head to create all those panels of light. But because she wants a lot of movement, she wants a lot of change, this is her first color, I'm giving her all different angles and light. Okay, so going there. Now, I'm gonna take a little bit smaller of an angle right here. And I'm gonna slowly work into going right with her part, but I'm gonna make sure it's really fine through here. So we're gonna do one last, maybe like a little bit thicker of a section. Let's see. Split that guy in half.
Is Arizona open right now?
Arizona? Yeah, Arizona is open. We are very fortunate to have remained open. We opened March 8th, I believe, was the first day.
May 8th.
Oh yeah, May 8th. Yeah, March was before it happened. But yeah, we opened May 8th, and we've been very fortunate to continue to remain open. I know that a lot of people in different states are going through some really hard times right now. And we are just with you guys, and you're in our thoughts and prayers.
And for this like Teasylight method, is it very versatile for different looks?
Yes, so versatile. Sometimes I'll do them really fine throughout the whole head to create a big impact. And then sometimes I'll do them a little bit finer for someone who's going through their first color and they want something super low maintenance, and it's a great technique that you can build upon. Okay, we're gonna start taking it parallel with her part. So you can kind of see I have this little kind of triangle happening. It's really skinny, then it goes a little thicker. We're probably gonna do 3 more foils. So we're almost there. We're gonna make sure we go all the way to the edge. I wanna catch all that hair in there. I'm just gonna weave this one. Sometimes I like to do this, weave it and then tease it. But usually I like to tease then weave. You know, it just depends what we're going for that day, what feels right. I get a little different once I get near the front just because I want to be a little bit more cautious of what I'm doing, since this is the hair that they're going to see right around their face. In the back, it's a little bit softer, falls a little easier, but the front, it's like we see every little piece. I want to make sure that artistry is there.
Can you do this technique on like all textures of hairs?
I have done it on all textures. You got fine hair, thick hair, curly hair, highly textured hair. I've done it on everyone, and it's so beautiful because it allows you to have your natural base within the color. I thought about showing you guys what it looks like without it being toned, but you know what? We just love a nice rich root, so. But sometimes we just throw one shade over it, and then it's good because it creates most of that color right through the ends. Okay, we're doing this one and then one more. Okay, I'm gonna just barely weave this little guy. So I'm gonna do a traditional foil, like I'm baby lighting it, but then I'm gonna do a tip out technique. So I'm not teasing it, but I'm just gonna do the same thing just with the foil. I just really love to tease my hair because I always feel like it's super soft, but right near the crown I wanna create all this dimension. And I plan on giving her a little shadow root. That hair's done. Okay, this is our last one. This one I'm gonna do super baby fine because I just want a little shimmer in there. And look at that heavy little piece. Gotta weave that out. Any other questions, Nicole?
Someone asked, did you tone with a level 7 for the root?
Yeah, I did a level 7 on her root. And I did like a 10, like a beigey color on her ends.
For like brushes, do you ever use different, besides the feather brushes, for like different colors?
Yes, let me show you what I've got. This is our last one. And if I'm folding it, because we talked about not doing that earlier, I first fold it like 3/4 of the way up and then one more time. And I don't really lock my foils much, but I'll usually just like lock a corner. I just don't like to waste time. And that is the Teasylight technique, but I would love to run through some brushes with you guys. So it's kind of crazy, like all this left out, but it turns out like this, where it's super light, but she has a lot of dimension through there. So I love this. I feel like this is a perfect technique for just about anyone. Okay, let me go grab my brushes and show you guys. So we showed you the differences in bowls. Sorry, this one's all messy, but there's a big bowl and a little bowl. We love the little bowl because we use less product. We use the pintail comb. I think this one is called the Pro Glide. Do this in a second. Pop-up foils, great. Assist yourself, does it for you. Okay, oh, and gator clips, love them. They're kind of like that matte, grippy material, so they're really nice. And, okay, so these are the different brushes that we like to use. So if it's a white brush, I only use lightener with them. I won't use any sort of color with them because I don't like to worry about them getting stained. I have bleached out brushes before, but I really like light for light. And they're just softer, they're better for lightener, they spread it better. And then I really like these ones, the taper tips. They are soft, but they also have one that's considered firm and it's a little bit shorter. I like that one too for like applying a root. I like using these for applying a low light. The bristle is a little bit thicker than the feather, but the ends are still very similar, but it'll really help saturate the root and just with application of low lights. So I really love the flexibility of those. They're both around the same size, just a little bit different in the bristle. And then I really love this one, the pintail brush. So this one's really cool if you want kind of a multi-purpose tool, but we really love this one for toning at the bowl. You're really able to get really precise slices through the hair as you're adding that root shadow.
Someone asked, do you tone at the bowl or at the chair?
Yeah, we tone at the bowl. Usually we tone at the bowl. Sometimes we tone at the chair, but usually 99% of our clients are right at the bowl. What questions do you guys have before I go?
Someone asked, is there ever hair too soft or healthy to tease? Or is there something you do to help you if you come across that?
You know, I just feel like the tease really helps create that blend and diffuse. There is people that have that really fine hair that doesn't like to tease, generally what I'll do with them is I'll just do what I call a weavy light. So instead of doing the tease then weave, I'll just do a weave but still kind of have that feathering technique with it.
And someone asked, how much time do you block off for this service?
I usually block off about an hour. Really depends on the client, but my new clients I probably block an hour and 15 minutes for application, and my returning usually 45 minutes to an hour for an application, just depending how many changes we're doing or the density of their hair.
Do you do like a good conditioning after you do this technique?
So when we take these out, we'll rinse them, shampoo them just how they are, and then we'll put some conditioner on them, let that set for about 5 minutes, rinse that, start brushing, and it usually brushes out really good. If someone has super tangly hair, I usually ask them before, and that's when I'll do that weave and feather technique that looks like a teasy light.
I think that might be all the questions.
Awesome. I'm really glad that we could do this tonight. And remember to follow myself, Hair by Kenzie T, Fromm Pro, and Marlo Beauty. They'll be hosting more live events, and this will be available on IGTV as well as their YouTube channel. And anything that you saw that I used today can be purchased on marlobeauty.com. If you guys have more questions that we didn't get to, make sure to comment on the video, or we'll go back through these comments and try to get to them. But I was really happy I could share with you guys, and thank you so much for tuning in tonight.
Perfect.
And press save.